Welcome to Launchpad Live. I'm Bill Kalivas.
And I'm Monique Cotton, and today we are talking about the two A's, aerospace and aviation. It sounds pretty exciting, Bill.
That's right, we're ready.
We've got that and much more. Launchpad Live starts right now. It's time for our awesome tech segment with Ed Reese. Ed, let's just lay it all on the line here. Tell us once and for all, what social media should businesses be using?
You ready?
Yes.
You really ready?
Well, yes.
Okay. Use the one where your customers are.
Okay.
So what social media sites are those, and how should they be communicating with them?
So just ask. So there are a lot of convenient tools. Use something like SurveyMonkey just to figure out where they are. Ask them when they come to your store if you're a retail shop. We did a report about a year ago for a manufacturer that was already a year into doing a social media campaign. We did an audit and found out that 97% of their audience was actually blocked from social media at the firewall.
So it was totally ineffective.
Totally ineffective because their audience couldn't watch YouTube, they couldn't get on Facebook. They were blocked. So figure out where your audience is actually capable of being reached.
So there's not a shortcut. I mean, you can't guess. You've got to ask your customers. Yeah. It sounds like there's excellent tools out there to do it.
Yep.
What's the first step?
So I would say to keep it on the human interaction side. Literally just ask people how they want to be contacted and then figure out how you can track it. So most of these tools have pretty detailed analytics in addition to things like Google Analytics to figure out what's driving people to your website.
It seems to make sense.
Yeah, it's great advice. So you had a conference here recently. Let's talk about that. Get Listed. How did things go?
Yeah, things went great. So we had an awesome time. It was a full-day conference, had people from all over the country. Bing came, we had site clinics. It was a great event. It was kind of a fire hose of information, but we had great response from folks.
So for older people like me, that's not Bing Crosby that showed up miraculously?
Yeah.
The search.
Yeah,
gotcha.
the search
Okay,
engine,
just want to make sure.
One of those holograms?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So what's the latest in tech or kind of your world of online marketing?
Yeah, so there's always updates from Google. There's a big one right now called the Penguin Update. They always code name their updates. Last year it was called Panda. This year it's called Penguin.
So black and white, any correlation? What does that mean?
So it's just a name. What it means is it's an algorithm update to try to limit over-optimization. So
could you explain that for Bill?
For Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. Yeah. Go ahead.
So a lot of people try to optimize their websites. You want to rank in Google. Makes sense. Well, Google's very smart. They have a very advanced algorithm, and they've recently targeted on-page over-optimization techniques. So what that means is if you tried to get hundreds or thousands of links that say, something like Spokane real estate agent or Spokane dentist, they're able to see that it's not natural for hundreds of links in Spokane, Washington that say, Spokane dentist in the anchor text to come to your website. You're now going to get dinged. So if you have a lot of unnatural links coming to your website, you could get a pretty big hit from the search engines. And that's just been launched in the last probably 3 weeks or so. And people are reeling because it used to be best practices to do these things. And now Google's getting better and better about detecting manipulation. They know likey.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's a good fair warning to businesses out there. I'm glad we have the heads up.
Yeah. I don't want people to overthink it. What they need to do is just continue providing great content. Make it easy to find, valuable for users, and valuable for the search engines, and people will be okay.
Yeah, so for people that want to get a hold of you, how can they reach you?
Yeah, just contact Six Man Marketing, and we'll get back to them.
sixmanmarketing.com? Awesome, excellent. Yeah. Ed Reese, let's give him a round of applause, everybody.
We have a special guest today. We're turning the tables a little bit. Bill Kalivas is not sitting here, he's sitting over here. I know what happened.
I kind of like it over here. The lighting's a little different.
It is.
Does it look better?
You know, I didn't want to say anything, but yeah, it's a little bit better. It's a better angle for you.
You're a smart woman. Good answer.
Flattery gets you everywhere,
That's right?
So we want to talk about something that is new and exciting with Launchpad.
Absolutely.
Tell us about that.
So Launchpad was awarded an innovation grant by the city of Spokane. I went to a meeting to just talk to the folks from the Mayor's Council, the Business Council, and we were awarded an innovation grant for a new program that we're a part of. The program is called Launch Spokane. And more information will be coming in the coming weeks, and we'll be making a press release announcement. But I'm very excited. It's a collaborative effort to help entrepreneurs and business owners who have an idea to start a company, or maybe they're part of a small business. We want to make sure our community provides the full access to all resources, whether it's capital or mentoring, to make sure those companies can grow and survive and nurture them to success in Spokane. So it's a very exciting program.
So can you give us a few specifics? So what would this mean for somebody that's potentially starting a business in Spokane? How's this going to help them?
Absolutely. So have you ever called AT&T or another phone service or someone and just trying to get questions answered, maybe on your bill, or maybe some utility company?
You get tech service in India, maybe?
Something. Well, or maybe you don't even get a human.
True.
But you call someone and you have a specific need, and they tell you, well, you need to contact this group or that group, but they don't connect you and they don't stay on the line with you. And so sometimes that can be really frustrating. So what this program is going to do is any person who's an entrepreneur or a small business owner, if they have an idea and they want to start a company, we have some phenomenal organizations and groups in this area that do wonderful work. However, the people that need this assistance the most, oftentimes they can't find those groups and they don't know where to go for help, especially if you're new to the area. So what this program will do is centralize all that information. We'll have a central database and a central website that partners with all these organizations to really profile what you need as an entrepreneur, what your specific challenges, and then we funnel that right to the right organization, and we really keep an online calendar it's one calendar where you can find access to all these groups. So there are so many great ideas starting to percolate in this community that I'm starting to see, and we want to make sure they have all the community support available to grow and nurture these jobs and these companies. And so it'll be a very collaborative model, but really it's all about customer service. And this community is saying, we want to grow jobs here and we want to help entrepreneurs.
So bringing all the resources together that can be helpful to business owners, that could be helpful to stimulate growth in the economy, putting them all in a centralized location so it's easy to access.
Absolutely. Let's use technology to make that available. Then let's have the human experience of making sure you're still talking to someone live that can help you and really counsel you on what you need. And so we'll be announcing, the official launch will be May 31st, but we'll be announcing it during some May events that we're going to be hosting as well.
So what's the timeline for us to start seeing some new things happening?
So May 31st will probably be the biggest opportunity to attend an event we're going to be hosting. And then really what we're going to try and do mostly is start to prove that the model works. Rather than hosting press conferences and doing press releases and trying to talk about it that way, what we want is real case studies. We want real companies that after 3 months and 6 months and maybe a year in May of 2013, let's have a big kind of event where we can talk about those successes and have those entrepreneurs and businesses talk about what it was like to have a better experience and see what happens. And we want to prove that the model works first before we start really talking too much about it, with press announcements and things like that.
It all makes sense. Actions speak louder than words. So, of course, if people are interested, I'm sure they can find some more information in the coming weeks on launchpad.com. And, Bill, I have to say you did a good job over on that side, but let's get you back here where you're a little more comfortable.
Yeah.
Thank you for having
Absolutely.
Thank you,
ma'am. I really appreciate it.
Oh, yes, sir.
You're very professional. And has anyone ever told you you're probably better on your own?
Oh, well, that's an idea. I don't want to throw that
Let's
out there.
edit that part out.
Okay.
Okay.
Cut. Bill, each week we like to talk to some representatives from the different Launchpad communities. They're very diverse, a lot of interesting things going on. And this week, for aerospace and aviation, we have Carol Wiegand. She's the program manager with Air Washington, and Brian Burrow. And you are the instruction designer at Air Washington, correct?
Correct. Right.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.
We appreciate having you here.
Yeah, absolutely. So can you tell us a little bit about both of your organizations? Let's start with you, Carol.
Sure. Air Washington is a consortium of 11 community and technical colleges all around the state supporting workforce education in the aerospace industry. It's kind of in a nutshell. It's a $20 million grant that was awarded to us through the Department of Labor. It's a Trade Adjustment Act funding source, and we're really just out to produce the best quality aerospace worker we can.
That's great.
So it sounds like this is a pretty robust area within our region. It's developing. Tell us about that within our region, aerospace.
Oh, absolutely. It's really taking off. Well, Washington has a long history of aerospace, thanks to Bill Boeing. It's been around for about 100 years, and Boeing has made a commitment to keep their manufacturing in this state with the new contract with the 737 at the Renton plant. And so it's a statewide effort to make sure that we support not only Boeing, but also their suppliers that we have quite a few of in the Spokane area. As a matter of fact, we have 80 suppliers that supply parts and pieces to those big jets that we see flying around the sky.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Those 80 employers translates to over 8,000 employees here in Spokane County.
Yeah, Brian, could you introduce yourself as well and kind of your role in your organization?
Well, sure. I'm the instructional designer over just one piece of the Air Washington grant. And it's an 11-week fast-track course to help get job seekers in there fast, get them the skills that they need to go get work in the aerospace manufacturing sector. And it's teaching them the basic skills that they need on the job, as well as the soft skills, like working together as a team, showing up to work on time, and these skills that employers are saying that they're absolutely crucial for success on the job. And then mine's a multifaceted role because once that curriculum is written for the 11-week period, then I'll transition to helping each of those colleges get it up and running and get it launched in their communities, and then helping to create buy-in and support from the employers in those communities for the credentials that these students are going to be coming out with.
Really a full-service preparation for this workforce and getting
Absolutely.
people
It is.
ready to go.
We're starting with our traditional programs, which are usually a year or 2 years in length. And with the workforce demand right now, we're trying to figure out ways to shorten that time to completion so that these folks can get into the workforce right away. And that's really the goal of this 11-week program, as well as other programs around the state. Short-term training that answers a job code need that we can get those folks plugged in quickly.
So it sounds like you're pretty well plugged in with the aerospace and aviation community in this region. How has that been, and what sort of programs or organizations are you working with to develop those relationships?
Well, we're lucky here. We've got the Inland Northwest Aerospace Consortium. It's a consortium of these 80 businesses. It incorporates all of North Idaho and obviously our Spokane area. And they meet on a regular basis to talk about their workforce needs, talk about what's happening in the community, talk about the needs of Boeing, where they see that the process could be a little more simple from beefing up their workforce to figuring out how to read the blueprints for the Boeing company. So there's just lots of pieces that they discuss, and we try and bring the right people to the table to make sure that they get their questions
And they go
answered.
by NWAC, right?
Correct.
Is the acronym.
Correct.
Brian, your role is pretty interesting. You've been doing a lot of traveling lately. Talk about that.
Yeah, I feel pretty special right now.
You should feel special because darn it, people like you.
People like me.
Yeah.
Good motivational speaker,
See?
Bill.
Well, as you know, I live here in Spokane, and so I office with the Workforce Development Council over here at City Hall, but I work occasionally over here at Spokane Community College, but I'm employed by the Center of Excellence for Aerospace that's over in Everett. So with those 11 community colleges, I bounce around quite a bit to connect with those colleges and the employers in those communities. So I'm on the road quite a bit. I spend time over in the I-5 corridor between the southern Puget Sound all the way up to Bellingham and over to Port Angeles, hitting the colleges that are part of this grant.
That's great.
It's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And so for you, obviously, it's all about the programs and the curriculum. And what are some of the specific things you're working on right now?
Right now is identifying what the employers want. It's really important to give them a product or a student that they want to hire. So we've done surveys, we've done a lot of outreach to the employers to say what are the core skills required for an entry-level person to come in here and be successful on the job. And they identify things like I touched on, the soft skills, showing up to work, the basic knowledge of manufacturing, knowing what tools operate for what, knowing about lean manufacturing, and just how to be a good employee and think on your feet and problem solve so that they can put you to work and you're successful.
Could you teach that to anyone, even if maybe I'm not interested in? Never mind.
Maybe.
You've got a special
Might not be
program
for
for you,
everybody.
Yeah, I've been involved in several special programs. Thank you.
In doing that, we've identified some credentials that fit the bill for these employers. One is the National Career Readiness Certificate that encapsulates all of those basic core skills, being able to read for information, applied on-the-job mathematics, and then locating information or problem solving, critical thinking. And our students come out with a certificate in hand that tells the employers that they are employable at this level on paper with a verifiable certificate that's portable around the country, not just here in Spokane or
Transferable
Washington
skills.
State.
It's all about the
Yes.
transferable skills so they can learn to be a good employee no matter what they're doing, right?
That is crucial right now as we see other sectors that have taken a hit, for example, the construction side, when maybe there aren't as many roofers employed as there used to be. We can take those unemployed job seekers who have been looking for work through no fault of their own, skill them up in aerospace manufacturing, give them a credential, and it allows them to walk out the door and go find work very quickly.
So you've got a lot of exciting things going on right now within your program. Anything on the horizon that you're looking towards that can be exciting coming up?
Well, I think the biggest part of this is that we're also training industry in our area to be certified to work on aerospace parts. So that's a special certification. It's new to something like this, that we're not only training folks, we're training businesses. And that's really an exciting part of this program.
And another exciting announcement is the president of Boeing is going to be in Spokane in September, right, at the GSI annual meeting. And so there's really so much this community is doing, and the organizations and the education community really rallying around this particular industry. And it really is exciting. Is it somewhat unknown about how many aerospace and aviation type companies are resident here in this region?
It is a little unknown. It's kind of a mystery. We've got a picture on our wall of a Boeing airplane with all the companies that support that particular plane. And some Boeing folks walked into my office and said, "I don't believe it." So I think that's starting to become known that we do aerospace work around here, and we're serious about it, and the manufacturers have aligned to really move forward with that message.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, we really appreciate having you here. Carol Wiegand and Brian Burrow, thank you for joining us.
Governor's Aerospace Conference coming back.
It is in September
September
as well. She'll be here in September with the other all the other suppliers and those who participate in that meeting.
And Bill, to tag on to that, you mentioned something about the community rallying, and that's why we're seeing the governor come here. Our community really is rallying around this effort. We see Greater Spokane Incorporated with their pre-certified sites saying, if you're an aerospace company and you're looking to do business in an area, come here because this plot of land is already ready to go, and tying that into our workforce pipeline here, saying we have workers coming out the gates ready to work for your industry, and everybody rallying around that cause. And we're seeing the fruits of it now and getting some attention, not just in our community, not just statewide, but other states are taking a look at our model, and they're kind of following on our heels here real quickly, seeing the momentum that we have.
Marketable for our region.
Yes, oh, very much so.
great.
Yeah.
So that means more dollars coming in and ultimately more
more
jobs.
dollars, yes,
Correct.
yes.
So it's good news. Excellent.
Very good
Well,
news.
literally taking off.
Yeah.
I've heard about Project Pegasus, but I don't know exactly what it is or how it relates to what's growing in aerospace and aviation in Spokane.
Project Pegasus was a statewide initiative that came out of the governor's office to basically analyze whether or not our state is competitive compared to the other states who are going after the aerospace workforce or aerospace suppliers as well. And what they found that we have a whole host of strengths, but we also have some things we need to work on. And so that we don't get caught on our heels again and have a flight line move to another state. We're really paying attention to that now. And this report just really laid that out of how we can improve what we do and make better the things that we're lacking in.
Along with the projects that are going on, to build the workforce, what about the next generation? What about getting high school kids involved in this, and what about stuff like that? Are there any programs that are going on for that?
We continually reach down in the K through 12 system to try and create opportunities. We're working with the Skills Center right now, Spokane Community Colleges, on a grant to have a new tech ed program in the area that's aerospace manufacturing. And we also are doing a summer workshop that introduces students, 25 high school students, to aerospace careers, whether it be flight, manufacturing, maintenance. There's just a lot of options in aerospace.
There's also another program rolling out soon. It'll be called Inspire Washington. that it will allow young students to connect with the employers, and so that they can get on there and find out more information about those career fields, what the requirements are, what education expectations are in front of them, and then connect with them. If they want a job shadow or they're looking for an internship, they can connect directly with the employers rather than searching or calling on their own or asking a teacher to make those connections for them. And that's really exciting, because as we have organizations like our Next Generation Zone that go out and make those connections with our youth and help them find work, as we work with the high schools and as early as middle schools, just starting with career awareness. What do you want to be when you grow up? Starting as early as middle school or even earlier, these students, as they come through, will help fill that pipeline of workers into these aerospace careers by identifying, one, that this is a good career that I'd like to go into, and then in their early years, keep them involved by having job shadows and internship opportunities. And I think this is going to be a really innovative and very useful platform for our community. It's pretty exciting.
Great.
We'll see more
Yeah.
news on that coming up.
No, this is exceptional. We really appreciate you being here. And, come back anytime. We want to check progress on how things are going in aviation and aerospace and the Air Washington program. So let's give them another round of applause, everyone. Well, we had a great show today. Thank you so much for joining us. And that was pretty good. Interesting to learn about aviation and aerospace. What do you think?
I know. The double A's, I loved it. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what's coming in the future.
Did you like
especially for
that one interview you did with that guy? I can't remember his name, talking about launch something. Do you remember that one?
I'll have to...
Kind of forgettable on your part?
Yeah, I mean, it was all right. You did a good job.
Little
You did
iffy.
a good job. It was a little iffy. No, I like you better over here on this side, but you did a good job.
Thank
and
you
that's
so
really
much.
exciting stuff for Launchpad.
Yeah, we're excited. So thank you again for being with us. If you would like to share your feedback or your information, or maybe you'd like to see another segment on the show that we could cover, just go to our Facebook page and type in Launchpad INW and leave comments for us there. You can also go to launchpadinw.com, where you can find our events and learn how to connect with people in specific industries. So, Monique, are you on Launchpad, by the way?
Of course I'm on Launchpad, Bill. What kind of question is that?
All right.
Come on. As always, it's our goal to connect you with the best and the brightest of our community, and we've certainly done that today. So thank you for joining us for Launchpad Live, and we'll see you